Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is spank that like button before watching this, so it reaches a wider audience. Also, before I get on with the memes, first a word from today's sponsor, Stoic Indifference. Fausto de Campo is the author of this book that teaches you basic mental discipline. They say that a mime is a terrible thing to waste, and so is your mind, especially when you fall in love and put your mental well-being into the hands of a woman. Think for yourself, structure your thoughts, and improve your critical thinking skills. Pick up a copy on Kindle or paperback today. Sponsor link is down below. And now on with the memes. Number 1, here's what less than 20 years of politics did to this woman. It looks like she hit the wall multiple times, and then after that it fell on her. Many people thought this wasn't the same person, but it actually is. Looks to me like the dark side of the force has some consequences. I would be frowning too if I look like that. I wonder where she keeps her broom. She reminds me of Nurse Ratched, but at least she could sometimes crack a smile. Up next, you thought number 1 was bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as Lori Lightfoot's transformation from Rihanna to Beetlejuice with a sprinkling of someone that was shocked by electromotricity. Maybe after being fired as the mayor of Chicago, she could have been a stunt double in the new Beetlejuice film. Remember guys, what's on the inside will eventually show on the outside. Number 3, we have a Brazilian woman that took a selfie with the Taliban in Afghanistan, and she was unharmed by them. But then she went to India, and 7 men used their schwangs on her without her permission. Of course, the media won't talk about this because it doesn't fit the narrative. It's something like this that convinced me that women in Afghanistan are safer than those in India. Also, why did those Indian men do this? Here's an image of her in India and the men that did it to her. While in police protection, it happened a second time. The cops had more important things to do, like eating dinner, it seems. Moving on, we have a New York City squatter staying in a house illegally and trying to bleed the owners dry, unless they pay him $100,000 to leave. Millennials that can't afford homes are just taking them from the boomers after living in them for 30 days based on that state's squatters' law rights. You can't even cut the heat and electricity on them without the cops hauling you away. People with empty Airbnbs better check to make sure that they're empty when not being rented out regularly. Number 5, Tristan Tate, Andrew Tate's brother, wrote a guide to help spot whether a woman is wife material and how to become worthy of her. I wonder if the same strategy will work when he goes to prison in the next year or two. Besides, he's not even married, but he's selling courses encouraging other guys to take that life-wrecking risk. Don't get married. Date and at the most cohabitate if you have to, but never give a woman legal power over your life. She'll lose respect for you. Up next, Hollyweird writes female characters where they are strong and empowered while simultaneously being oppressed victims. You might have heard of Schrodinger's cat before, but how about Schrodinger's feminist? A woman that's simultaneously the victim and empowered until something happens. Then she chooses which state benefits her the most. They have zero principles and you shouldn't have any sympathy for them. Number 7, we have a dad that's proud of his son because when someone called his son gay, he said, "I'm not gay, but I'm straighter than the pole your mom dances on." He went from "Are you winning, son?" to "Attaboy Luther." It's a proud dad moment while the mom is probably sulking up in the corner. Looks like this boy was raised right to be intelligent enough to stand his own ground when he's insulted. Give that boy a medal shaped like a rainbow. Actually omit the rainbow parts. Moving on, women don't seem to realize that getting lip fillers and removing the fat from their face makes them look like a cross between bogging themselves and becoming a non-passing trans person. Either that or a garbage pail kid. Women that approach the wall are increasingly bogging themselves. Women naturally have fat on their faces. Having it sucked out masculinizes them. If you ever wonder what bogging yourself is, well, this is what it looks like. Number 9, Hugh Hefner said that several girlfriends are easier to handle than one wife. Is he right? Yes, because it's harder to get rid of your wife. The girlfriends, on the other hand, know that they're easily replaced, and that's why they tend to behave better. For me, it's best to ignore both types of relationships entirely. Too bad he didn't take his own advice and ended up getting married 3 times. Up next, there are 4 types of people you'll meet in this world. The people that want to free the slaves, the slave masters, the people that have no idea that they are slaves, and the people who like being slaves. I was number 3 and then became number 2 for a while, until I eventually became number 1. But Cypher doesn't like being a slave. He wants to know that he's not a slave, and makes it clear by saying the following. Number 11 is what most 20 to 32-year-old women are doing these days, getting a septum ring and tattoo sleeve. But I'm also seeing women in their 40s following this trend. Between this and sucking the fat out of their faces, they're masculinizing themselves. We used to give women flowers, and today they're tattooing them all over their arms. The tattoo looks great and is probably supposed to distract you from how bad the rest of her looks. Moving on, we have Alice Wood, and she was jailed for life for ending her fiance after running him over after he clicked with another woman at a party. The judge told her that she has no remorse. Finally, women that do this are being punished. The last time a woman did this and made headlines, she was released because she was a gifted academic. Alice here was probably hoping that she could get away with it because of the stereotype that females are bad drivers. On a side note, looks like the achy breaky heart mullets are making a comeback. Number 13, we have an Indian feminist responding to a pregnant woman whose husband doesn't know that he's not the dad and wants to know what to do. The Indian feminist says it's the husband's responsibility to take care of the kid, and if not, the law is there to encourage him to do so. She says to create a false allegation and use it against him if he doesn't want to raise Raj's baby. I'm ready, folks. Send in the asteroid. Up next, we have a bunch of women that want to abolish the Second Amendment and take away men's boomsticks. I wonder what the response would have been if it were men standing around with a sign saying, "Give up your rights to abortion or we'll take them away from you." Or what about the 19th Amendment? Also, why are these women still wearing masks when it's 2024? And one of them has a shirt that says Biden-Harris 2024. How cute they think they can trick male feminists into trying to take those boomsticks away from the masculine men. Number 15, we have a strong, empowered, and educated female telling men that going to college made her better. So now they need to pay off her loans because you're an uneducated racist. The boomers are wondering why young millennials and zoomers don't want to work and pay their fair share of taxes. But just remember that if you celebrate your graduation, you just move from undergraduate to unemployed. The college turned your tuition into Bitcoin, and you're lucky if you're living in a van down by the river. Moving on is a woman that broke up with her boyfriend to get smashed by a coworker that she was having a huge crush on. After a couple of rendezvous, he ghosted her, and she's angry with him, and then ghosted him. We're supposed to feel sorry for her now. But what about the boyfriend of 3.5 years that was dumped? What happened to him? She says she can't wait for the office Christmas party to confront the ghoster guy. She says she has mommy issues to blame for this. I guess she can't take accountability. Number 17, we have Sarah saying that if girls mature faster than boys, then why aren't they given more positions and seats of power and authority? What she neglected to mention is that girls also stop maturing earlier than boys, which means we also overtake them. Girls just start puberty sooner. They don't mature faster. She's probably just power hungry, hormonal, and toxic, as well as jealous of the men that are more competent than her. Up next, just imagine being a time traveler to today, but heading back to 1990 and coming back to tell everyone that one day Roseanne Barr will look better than Madonna. Looks to me like Madonna did a little too much material living. It was Oscar Wilde that once said that by the time you turn 50, you will have the face you deserve. If Madonna ever gets hard up for work, she can always be Jigsaw's stunt double, although the eyes look more like she's kind of East Asian. Number 19, we have some simp saying that his girl went out protesting and she came back looking like this. F the police. Looks to me like she took the F the police part a little too seriously. Looks like she ran into those Indian guys from earlier in the video. To be honest though, I haven't noticed hickeys being a thing for many decades now. Moving on, Spanish soldiers are changing their gender from male to female for added benefits, including higher pay. They're saying I'm a lesbian on the inside. 41 male soldiers have transmaxed on official documents. They're proud, masculine-presenting transgendered lesbian women. You go, queens. They're using female privilege to their own advantage. This is the current day cheat code. Men adapt and women complain. Number 21, speaking of Spain, Amber Turd has changed her name and moved to it. It's probably a better choice than going to a third world country. People thought that she was a prize, but she's just a liability. Maybe she changed her name to a Russian one. Amberica Turdanova. She took her surrogacy-born baby, maybe Elon's, and ran off to hide from her shame, which is more powerful than her fame. Up next, if Trump was reelected, Americans are planning to flee to Canada in droves. But why would they come here? Housing and food are more expensive, and they get paid 30% less. People are just threatening to leave, but they will stay if he's reelected. Plus, during the next election, Pierre Poilievre in Canada, a conservative, is going to get in. So they're screwed a year and a half from now. I think they'd be more comfortable with more familiar surroundings, like down in Venezuela. Number 23, Riley Gaines wins an $8 million defamation lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg. Unfortunately, after digging into this, I learned that it's yet another fake story that most of us actually wish was true. I think there's a good chance that Ted Danson messed Whoopi up pretty bad. Moving on, we have a woman and her simp boyfriend that spent $40,000 to take their dog on vacation to Japan. That dog was probably thinking, why the hell did you bring me here? It's cold and it gives me anxiety. This is the same type of woman that can't pay back her student loans. Then male taxpayers pay them off for her, so now she's going to go into debt again to give the dog a vacation. This is what happens when women use their dogs as a replacement for children. Number 25, and the last one, is a woman that's thinking about the time she went on a date with a man, and she was pregnant and didn't tell him that fact before they met up. This dating while pregnant trend needs to stop. Now in Western countries, not only you have to get a recent full body shot to find out if she's fat, but also to find out if she's preggers. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Give this video a thumbs up to help it reach more viewers. If you want the memes I can't show you on YouTube, then subscribe over to my X account where I post them ahead of time. Link is below. Also remember, I make these for free, so donate what you can at the PayPal and Subscribestar links below for more content like this. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.